Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about Unfrosted. Unfrosted is an American comedy very loosely based on the development of the Pop-Tarts breakfast pastry. It tells the story of Bob Cabana, an employee of Kellogg's whose company is dominating against rival company Post in the 1960s breakfast industry until a secret is revealed. Cabana finds out that Post is creating a brand new pastry product that could threaten their position in the market. As such, Cabana teams up with both old and new acquaintances in order to design their own version of the new pastry product in the hopes of taking the world by storm and reclaiming their dominance once again. I was excited to see how this movie would turn out, with it being Jerry Seinfeld's directorial debut, but it ended up being nothing special. I admired the work that went into its visual presentation and the fun it has in retelling a true story in a false kind of way, but the comedy just felt too weak and the pacing was all over the place. In addition to being the director and a co-writer of the script, Jerry Seinfeld plays the lead role of Bob Cabana. He definitely is the main reason to watch this movie, though that'll more or less depend on personal preference when it comes to his style of comedy. I'm not sure how he is in other movies and shows he's done outside of his TV show Seinfeld, but to me it felt like he was just being himself. He's very deadpan and doesn't enunciate himself much even when his character is supposed to be stressed or angry, which tends to conflict with the more exaggerated characters in the rest of the movie. To a point, this is a good thing because he helps keep the central goal of the story more grounded amidst all the craziness going on around him. It's just his character doesn't change much as the story progresses, so he gets pretty boring as time goes on. It's not a bad performance, but it could have been a lot better. Thankfully, there's several other characters in the movie that help to liven things up. It's not just the central supporting characters like Melissa McCarthy and Jim Gaffigan's roles, but also the smaller recurring ones that leave a lasting impression with how outlandish they are. I'm not going to name every single actor in this movie because there's a lot of them, but some of my favorite roles include Bill Burr as President JFK, Christian Slater as an evil milkman, and Hugh Grant being the best as a Shakespearean actor who performs in mascot roles for Kellogg's. Pretty much all the actors had something unique to offer to the movie, and no matter how small or large their contribution was, they were almost always memorable. The same can be said for the story as well, though not always in the right ways. I do like how it takes a true story about two rival companies battling for supremacy and retells history through a comedic lens, because it's an interesting way of making an old story feel new again. Obviously, most of what happens in this movie never actually happened in real life. Scenarios like Kellogg's creating a sentient piece of ravioli with the help of a literal incarnation of Chef Boyardee are ridiculous, and yet these situations help the movie stand out more as a comedy, while also staying true to a loose chronology of events between Kellogg's and Post. Where the story starts to lose me is with how fast everything is presented. Cabana and his crew meet with one person after another, perform one experiment after another, and all kinds of other things in between, and the movie never takes time to breathe and allow the characters to develop properly. There's subplots that come up as well, which can be distracting to what's supposed to be the main focus of the story. There's one part where Grant's character gathers all the mascots to protest against Kellogg's, and the movie spends way too much time getting sidetracked by this angle. On top of this, everything about Kellogg's and Post's rivalry in this movie feels oversimplified. I know it's a comedy and it's not meant to be taken seriously in any way, but the business side of the story is so dumbed down to the point that it makes the movie seem almost infantile. This leads to what I think about the comedy as a whole, which, as with the story, I felt was a mixed bag. There's a few parts where it works really well, and some where it really doesn't. In general, though, I was surprised by how mediocre the majority of the humor was in this movie. A lot of it is centered around breakfast puns and how obsessed everyone is over breakfast. One scene that comes to mind is when Cedric the Entertainer's character presents an award ceremony specifically for breakfast companies, and he says something like, "Whoa, someone frosted your flakes." I mean, yes, the movie is about companies that specialize in breakfast, but this movie goes way overboard with the breakfast references. After so many puns, brands coming to life like the Quaker oatmeal guy, and even unrelated products like Oscar Mayer wieners coming up, it gets a bit too much. Now, the parts where history is rewritten are great. Seeing Kellogg's and Post CEOs portrayed as former lovers, and Walter Cronkite playing with a toy while reading news about Pop-Tarts live on air are just some examples of the movie getting it right when it comes to the comedy, because they are silly, but they don't feel too over the top either. I wish the movie wasn't so split on the comedy, because there are flashes of brilliance in how it satirizes the breakfast war between the two companies. There's a scene ripped straight out of Mad Men, complete with John Hamm and John Slattery, and it's amazingly entertaining. However, there's a scene right before it that takes place at a funeral, and it's ungodly cringeworthy. Just like the story, the humor is all over the place, so it's hard to get invested in. One thing I can say this movie nails consistently is the aesthetic presentation. The amount of work that went into recreating the 1960s time period complete with costumes, company logos, spacious set designs, and a ton of other things, is just mind-blowing. They did not need to go into this much detail at all for a movie like this, so it's awesome to see the filmmakers went the extra mile on this front. The whimsical tone of the movie also ties into this a bit, with everyone being happy-go-lucky and the music being cheerful and boisterous in nature. I won't deny that it can be excessive, especially with how iffy the comedy can be at times, but it's still great that the movie at least gets the atmosphere it's supposed to have. For the most part, it's a surprisingly squeaky clean comedy. There's not much inappropriate content or language in it, and any that is present is usually conveyed on a subliminal level. This could make it more appealing to family audiences, but with how tame it can be at times, that does occasionally leave it feeling boring, and I imagine a lot of its inside jokes would fly over kids' heads anyway. So your appreciation of this movie will ultimately be determined by whether or not you enjoy Seinfeld's comedic style and his take on twisting a true story into something ludicrous. I never got much of a coherent sense of how Pop-Tarts came to be, and I'm not a big Seinfeld buff, but I did get some entertainment out of it. And in the end, that's what comedy is all about. Overall, Unfrosted is an ambitious but unremarkable comedy that won't appeal to many outside of hardcore Seinfeld fans and those looking to see a true story becoming make-believe. If that's the kind of movie you're looking for, especially if you fit into both of these camps, and you can accept about 99% of everything that happens in it being a farce, you might enjoy checking this out. Personally, I prefer a more straight-laced comedy that's more subtle in nature and not over the top like this one, but on the whole, it's pretty harmless. It does have some genuine laughs to offer, and the attention to detail with its setting is fantastic. It just lacks the depth, or frosting if you will, that it needs to make the full package more appealing. What did you think about this movie? Did you enjoy Seinfeld's take on the story of Pop-Tarts, or did you find it as underwhelming as I did? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of Unfrosted. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the American romantic comedy, Mother of the Bride. Bye bye!